Hello. a big intake of breath before I start my video. This video is Craig. My name's Craig. This is Flooded. Hello, how are you? These videos I make, I do them as live. So I've got a little mixing switch thing there, and I switch live to you. It's not edited. So what I'm trying to say is it's not edited. So I'm making an apology for the fact that the result of that is that it's a little bit long. So sit down or stand up or turn around or bend over, do whatever you want to do. What I'm basically saying is go and get a cup of coffee and maybe just have this on in the background while you are getting yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea. And that would be awesome. What you mustn't do is skip and go to a new... Oh, you've already gone. Lost you. Never mind. I want to talk about Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan is I would say a documentary series on Netflix. It's a limited series. 3 episodes have dropped, as they like to say. And I'm not sure if there's going to be more or not. I don't care. I have approached it from I've done with it what a TV executive would do when assessing whether to make something. When you look at a pilot or whatever, you wouldn't necessarily sit down and watch the whole thing. You'd watch the first 20 minutes and then you'd skim through the rest and you get the idea. And that's kind of what I did. I mean, I work in television. I make documentaries. I don't have to sit and watch every absolute second to get an idea. So what I'm not going to do is do a review as such. I'm going to comment on it as a production existing, right? So that's where I'm going to do something hopefully slightly different to what other YouTubers are doing. I'm actually talking about it from a production side point of view from somebody who works in television. Because I'm not that big a YouTuber, I can afford to go and do a proper job, I suppose you could call it. I would prefer not to. I prefer just be here with you, but because there's only so few of you, I have to go and do my my other job for now. So Harry and Meghan is as limited series as I said on Netflix. Now, before I talk about anything, when you make a documentary, you tend to tell your friends and family that you are a documentary maker, a filmmaker, you might say. And sometimes you might also slip into your bag that you're therefore a journalist. And I know there's lots of people who do that. Lots of YouTubers are now making little mini documentaries by stealing archive left, right, and centre. And they're calling themselves journalists now. Tim Pool calls himself a journalist. Lauren Southern's now calling herself a journalist. I think even Carl Benjamin's called himself a journalist now, and everyone's a journalist, everybody. But I'd kind of say you're not. Ash Sakar is a journalist, apparently. Being a journalist is... now, this is not a shared opinion by many. It's just me, and don't hate me for having it, but I steadfastly believe it. When I was, now I'm not a fan of the BBC by any mark, but I was trained there back in the day. In the 90s is where I started out on television, and I was trained at the BBC, and impartiality was the big thing. I know it's hard to believe, but there was a time when the BBC was actually quite good at impartiality, believe it or not. And you're brought up learning that you need to present both sides of a story at all times, and you must almost come at the story from that perspective. And it's quite easy to do. And what it does is it politically positions you in kind of like a center position, which is a loathed position by many people. People hate centrists. And it's kind of somewhere you just fall into. And I think that if you're to work at the BBC, it's almost like a requirement for the job if it's the BBC in particular. Now, I don't have any problems, and I've said this in other videos, I don't have any problem with any media organisation being biased one way or the other, but I do have a problem with the BBC being biased. They can't be because they're a national broadcaster. They're supposed to represent everybody. And it doesn't work to just have, okay, well, let's make one left-wing show and then next week we'll make a right-wing show. It doesn't work like that. Everything has to be unbiased. Anyway, that understanding aside, the point I was trying to make was that I think that if you are biased and there is a ideological narrative you want to push in anything you're making as a filmmaker, if there's a story you want to tell and you want the viewer to have a certain persuasion by the end of watching your work, you're actually an activist. And you're not being a journalist at all, in my books, because I think a requirement of journalism is unbiased storytelling, unbiased presentation of facts. And you mustn't leave stones unturned. You mustn't just present the perspective of who you think are the good guys without presenting the perspective of the bad guys. There's extremes of that where it doesn't work, like dictatorships, like if Gaddafi's killing his people, and you would go to them for a comment. We all know what they're going to say. That's how dictators work. But on a kind of a milder level, if it's something like home politics, it's very important that you get both sides of the coin. It's like you can't have a TV show where you're trying to present a perspective about British politics if you're only ever having Labour Party MPs on to comment and left-wing writers. But everyone's calling themselves journalists these days. And I just think that you can't. So, back to Harry and Meghan. There are producers and directors who made this show who were being paid by the people they're interviewing. How weird is that? That's corporate. That's a corporate video if you do that. And when you watch this, I think you just need to ask yourself, is this unbiased, impartial storytelling? So in case you didn't know, by the way, if you go to Internet Movie Database, if you don't know, Internet Movie Database is the key website to go to for everything to do with films and television. It details all the cast, the crew, the production companies, blah, blah, blah. And if you go to the Internet Movie Database for this show, I'm going to share with you here, this is Internet Movie Database. And you click on the companies. All it details is this company here, which is Netflix. It makes out that Netflix is the only company involved in making this show. It doesn't mention anybody else at all. But there is a company that made this show. It's a company called Archwell. And how do we know that? Well, if I go to the show itself, I've just muted it so I don't get copyright struck. I don't know if I can speed things up. There you go. So what it does is it animates down to that, and then there you go. Archwell Productions are the makers of this documentary show. So the Meghan and Harry shows, Harry and Meghan series is made by Archwell Productions. Archwell Productions are part of Archwell Incorporated. They do audio because audiobooks, publishing. There's a foundation, so there's charity there, which is quite often a tax relief thing. They're a Beverly Hills-based public organisation registered in Delaware and founded in 2020 by Prince Harry and Meghan. So this is a show. Let me blow that up just so you can see it really clearly. Archwell is owned by Prince Harry and Meghan. So this is a documentary made about the definitive story of Harry and Meghan, told by Harry and Meghan, made for and funded for by Harry and Meghan, with a whole team being paid for. Imagine you sat there being interested, like about to lay your soul bare your soul. It's all bare, whatever. And knowing that everyone in that room is on you're paying them, but still convincing yourself that, oh, this is look how good and worthy we are. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't, even if it's true, if everything you're saying is true, it's just too open to corruption. Possibly a bit of a strong word there, but think about all the stages that show is going to go through, where there's opportunity to just bend things to favour them, to make them look a little bit good. Should we include that quote by that guy? Nah. If it was, if the producers and directors of this were, and I'm sure they might in a certain way class themselves as journalists, if they were completely honest in telling this story, then they would definitely have interviews with Piers Morgan, Where's the interview with Piers Morgan? Did he get approached? I doubt it, because he's one of their massive critics. Piers Morgan talks about a time of Meghan coming to London and wanting to meet him in order to get advice on how she could become famous here in the UK. And then you've got the maker of this. Now, bear in mind that Meghan has made lots of sort of. She's partnered up with Dove. You know, Dove, the multi-million-dollar company Dove, to make videos about how women need to be more, represented in everything. So now that might be true. It might not be true. Maybe women are being represented fine. I've not looked into it. I don't know. But she's saying that, it's not about just being included. It's about being in charge, is what she's actually said in the past. Women need to be in charge. So you could say, well, saying that is kind of an ideology. It's an ideological perspective on life, right? Now, if you are having that ideological perspective on life, then you're going to let it manifest in everything that you do, and it's not going to stop when it comes to financing a documentary about yourself. So, do you think Meghan's going to sit there in the office when they're deciding about how they're going to go about making this series for Netflix? Do you think she sits there and says, "Right, who are we going to have making this show? Obviously, we're going to be the production company, but." Who should we get to direct it? Should we get a fella? Should we get a guy? Yeah. Bill Jones is available. Yeah, should we get a woman? No. The other thing is, Harry is an RAF guy. He doesn't know anything about TV and media. Prince Andrew was the one who had the production company. Meghan is from the film industry, and she's from marketing and PR, and she's sold makeup, and she's been ambassadors for this, and she's about the elite, talking about the poor people and trying to help the poor people. It's all pseudo. It's all pretend. It's all, as the cliche now, virtue signaling. Look how good I am. I'm talking about helping people. Now, if it's true that that's what she's about, then she makes it very hard to believe her. I'm not saying it's not true. I think I did just say it's not true. But if it is true, and I don't believe it's true, then she makes it very hard for people to believe her, because it's so fake. It just looks bad. So she is the one who knows about the media, and she's sitting in these meetings, and decisions are being made about who's doing what. And if you do look at the documentary here, there's a section here you can look at the filmmakers. So there's Liz Garbus, who is the director, and then we got guy, bloke, lady, guy, woman. This guy here, Angus Wall. He's from Game of Thrones. He's a film guy, so that's interesting. So I'm quite intrigued by that. Editors, one male editor, four female editors. The thing is that it doesn't look too. It looks pretty balanced, though. There's definitely a lot of male producers there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 men and this is like box ticking exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. It's equal producers. The director, though, Liz Garbus, right in the beginning of episode 1. Just find it. So I just wanted to play this because at the beginning of episode 1, the director decides if it's going to happen. Hello. Look how beautiful that is. It looks absolutely beautiful. But the director decides to come and stick her big mug in the shot, because it's like she's playing a clip that anyone can find on YouTube. It's this interview here. You know, anyone can find it, and it's like, well, you two haven't seen it. Meghan doesn't remember doing it. Of course she does, and she's pretending. Oh, what is that from? And even to the extent of she's trying to remember how she would have answered the questions. In 2015, she was saying she doesn't know. I mean, she knew who Harry was in 2015. I can guarantee it. Anyway, so this is the director here, wearing a mask, interestingly. So maybe, I don't know, America's funny with the mask rules, aren't they? But whatever, they've just caught what she's got. Or she's caught what they've got. I don't know. I always get the feeling that she's been working on this. Meghan's been sat and thinking about this and making herself ready for this 50,000 times more than he has. He's just rolled in. He's like, give me a shout when you guys are ready. She's been down there getting her hair done and her makeup done and everything done, and he just rocks up. That's probably not fair. It's probably not fair at all, but you do get that sort of impression from it. So there it is. That's Liz Garbus. So you can go to her Twitter account, and she's protected all her tweets, because the temptation is to find out, you know, everyone will be looking for the dirt. Everyone will be looking for the dirt on everyone involved in this. And this is made by a tight-knit collection of people who are all working together with one narrative in mind, which is helping Harry sell his book. This is a documentary leading up to the sale of the book, all piling money into this production company, Archwell. And I just don't like it. I don't like that we are being subjected to... It's kind of fakery, and as somebody who works in the industry, I would love to make. There's so many people who would love to make that documentary about Meghan and Harry, and you know, if there's a true story to be told, just let them. Don't be afraid to just let them do it. Don't make your own documentaries about yourself, because nobody's going to believe you. And of course, Netflix are going to jump at the chance. And the other thing, of course, if it goes on Netflix, you're never going to know whether it's a popular show or not. You might. Hopefully, there will be some numbers up on Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes to indicate how people feel. And then if they're negative, everyone will just say, "Oh well, that's just everyone sort of bombed it. You know, they deliberately piled in to bomb it. It was a, you know, what's it called? A dog pile. They just dog piled the reviews. That's what will happen, because Netflix don't tell you the real figures. This show, obviously, because everyone who hates them is going to watch it, and everyone who loves them is going to watch it. So it's kind of a win-win, because all that matters in terms of making money and advertising revenue is that people watch it. Anyway, I've rambled on a little bit about the Harry and Meghan documentary. I'd be very interested to hear what what views anyone else has got about it, from people particularly who have watched it from head to toe, if you like, and what did you think? Oh, there's something else, by the way. So before I go, let me just talk about this, right? And I wanted to do this, deliberately wanted to do this on stream, sort of live, which is a little test. I was on the Internet Movie Database site, and if you go to the videos, there's this video here. It's just a trailer, and I've muted it. And what I wanted to do was see if you see when I watch stuff, I can tell, yeah, that's library, Pond 5, So, but if you don't know what Pond 5 is, pond5.com probably. I'm just about to go there in a second to show you. I've actually got it standing by ready for me to search. But Pond 5 is it's a clips website where you can buy clips of things. And I was watching this, and I saw the clip. There's the clips here. So. You know, this is all archive stuff, and it's just been cleverly edited. See that going to black and then fading up? That's kind of doom. And everything was really happy, and we were kissing and getting married, and then these guys were the real problem, right? And then the press were the problem. And then this shot here. Do you see these newspapers going through the thing? I looked at that and thought Pond 5. So I'm going to actually check that for you right now. I've got Pond 5 up and running. This is Pond 5 if you can't see it. This is the Pond 5 website. So let's do a search. Newspaper factory. don't know. I might fail here. I'll embarrass myself. Ah! Ladies and gentlemen, there's the shot. Pond 5. 46 quid if you want it, guys. If you want to use it as well as Meghan and Markle have used it, there's the shot. 46 quid for the same shot used in the Harry and Meghan trailer Netflix show. So now this is just a benign shot of newspapers going through a press, but the point is that there's lots of archive being plucked out of many different sources. Look at the credits. Look at the many archive credits there are. It's a lot of editing gone into this to portray a certain narrative that might not necessarily be true. For example, I think there's footage of a scrambling press, and they found out that footage was actually of Katie Price, who is like the ex-model, when I think she was going for surgery or something, and they were all scrambling to try and get her picture. And they edited it into this show like it was those press were chasing Meghan and Harry, which just isn't the case. You just don't get that close to them. Not that anyone's particularly interested. But so we're being spun stories here, and it's a bit concerning. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Yeah, let me know. I'm very interested to know what you think. Take care of yourselves. Till next time, I'll say cheerio. I've been Craig. You can get me on Twitter @Fludded. Take care. Bye-bye.